Xin chào cả nhà của em 3. Alright. So this video is about journaling. Hai nhà ha. Journaling. Okay. So some of you have asked me, how do I journal? When should I journal? What should I journal? Okay. So, anyways, uh, on the screen we're looking at our Discord, but it is the general channel right here. General channel. This is a channel where everybody in the public can see. Okay, and on October 25th, there was a question about journaling as well. Yeah, before October 25th, actually, but there was a question about journaling. So I made it a point to journal my trades on that day, October 25th. You can go back into the general and go to October 25th and see all of that. Okay, so, and one thing to note is that this is October 25th, right? October 25th right here. I started that day at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Okay, and if you're looking at this chart and I'm saying, okay, this is winner number one, I'm taking a trade in CL, that is the oil market, and I'm using LV5 setup, right? And you don't see that on this chart because when I put this chart out, it was to the public. So I don't want them to know about all of our setup because they are, they're not, they don't belong to the privilege club to know these setups, right? So therefore you don't see that. But if you look at your chart, you will see that, right? So anyways, if we look at this, trade number one, I took a trade in CL. Remember, the context of this video is about journaling, okay? This setup was an LV5 short setup, okay? So I took the LV5 short setup. Next trade, trade number two, I took this in the gold market and I took a setup called VMM and 3K. And we know, well, most of you know, and those of you who don't know is because you haven't gone to that class. But when you go through that class, you would know what VMM and 3K mean, and it is always potentially a big move. So when I took the trade at 5:42 a.m., I'm like, this is a setup we call VMM and 3K. It is going to be a big move expected. So I took the trade right here. So, and the trade continue 5:56 a.m. here. Win number two continue. VMM working as expected. And I'm monitoring the trade as we are progressing here, right? And then at 6:01, I'm still monitoring the trade. I have targets up here. We don't know if the target's gonna hit or not, right? So we have to scale out as we go along at other points, right? So here I'm telling you, I took profits early at TIF line because VMM, even though it's a VMM, it may stop at the TIF line. So I took all of my profits, right? So this was a decent trade, right? It's a bigger trade than, for example, this one, right? Because it's a VMM setup, okay? So, and then winner number three, I took it on the MNQ market. The setup is a double top and a breakpoint, right? And then, maybe 10 minutes later, I took another trade on MNQ. The setup is PH, which stands for Feng Wang. First touch, boom, took the trade. Trade number six, setup, LV number six. Everybody should know that, right? Winner number seven, this was on the YM market, LV3 and X2, right? Everybody should know what LV3 is and X2 is, right? I mean, those of you who have gone through the class, some of you watching this video might have not gone through all of the classes, but when you do, you would know what X2 is, but certainly you know what LV3 is, right? So this trade was on LV3. Okay, and then winner number 5, VMM LV4. Everybody should know what LV4 is. And as we said, if it's a VMM setup, we are expecting a big move. Okay, so here I'm in with 12 contract, 641, like 10-15 minutes later, monitoring this level. If they break out strong, we have a lot more to go, right? So 10-15 minutes later, I'm still in the trade. And then this is about maybe a half hour later, about an hour later, I'm still in the trade. Look at this. My size has been the same, right? I'm monitoring the trade and I'm looking to take profits, right? Scaling out because breakpoint level. Everybody should know that we had a breakpoint right here that may or may not break. So I'm scaling out, taking profits, right? But right here, 641, and this is 7:30. This is roughly what, about an hour later. When I enter the trade, I already know that this trade, LV4 with VMM, potentially we have a big move, right? So therefore, there are times that well, nobody really knows in the market, right? You have an understanding that if there's these two combination, we are expecting a big move. So don't take profits too early, right? So 728, I took some profits here. 733, it looks like I took some more profits, right? And I scale out more because LV2 resistance. So we have an LV2 somewhere up here. So I'm scaling out. Does that make sense? So this was a good trade, right? If you look at the P&L, right? How it progressed. 3,600, 54, 87, and then I scaled out of some position, three contract, and I'm still green $7,600, and I'm waiting for this area to get hit, right? So that's how you journal your trades, right? So big win. Oh, VMM setup continues, right? So it went scaling out up here, right? 734, 735ish. I'm showing you that I took one contract out up here. Had targets higher, but monitoring this level for failure, right? So I had targets up here for the VMM, but I'm monitoring this. If this thing fail, meaning coming down, then I'll exit my position, right? So I don't know what happened, why this thing doesn't go further, but anyhow, looks like they're having a hard time getting through this area, so went flat. So as I'm monitoring this area, 4 minutes later, I exited my entire position. Okay, and I'm showing you that I don't have any positions on. 740, 744, 4 minutes later, right? So that's how you journal and you monitor your trades, right? So journal could be as simple as that, right? Look, when number 10 on the oil market, the setup is LV4 and a breakpoint and an X2 level. So when you have multiple levels, that's going to be a pretty strong trade, right? So I'm sized in a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm sized in a little bit bigger. Winner number 11 on gold. This is the GC market, the setup, trend line, rejection, and breakdown from breakpoint. So there's some breakpoint up here. We rejected it and we're breaking down. So I took the trade. Okay. Okay. What is this? Winner number 10, MNQ. The setup is X2 and Cobalt. Okay. There's a bunch of notes here that I'm not going to read, but you guys can read that yourself. winner number 13 back down in 3K. We know, or most of you know, what trade, what setup back down is, right? And what you should be expecting that. That's why what you should be expecting as your target. So therefore, and and this is generally a big trade. So look at the size that I'm in, right? And then I'm when the 13 continues, scaling out at PH. Phượng Hoàng. See that? I'm scaling out at Phượng Hoàng. Look, at 133, now I only have 53 contracts left. This is roughly 12 minutes later, right? There's some summary here, but I'm not going to read all of it. Anyhow, I think the next day, which was some other day, I guess, yeah, October 28th, we have a LV6 proximity. I took the trade. Boom. Right? Win number 3, GC in the gold market, LV1. Everybody should know what that is. Right? LV1 trade. Winner number 5. This is on the Russell RTY LV2 proximity. Okay, so I took the trade and recorded it. Right? That's the journal. Winner number 3, GC LV1. Okay, so journaling can be as simple as that. Does that make sense? Right? But we need to journal these to know what, and we need to review these after at the end of the day to see we are actually executing on the right setup. Because sometimes you may execute, but it's not any setup, right? That's where you make the mistake, right? You might FOMO into the position. So you want to record and note your trade, journal your trades, right? Over time, you're going to get better and better because you're going to figure out mistakes from there. Does that make sense? So, and like for example, with number 5, it's a VMM, right? LV4. And we are anytime we have a VMM entry, we are expecting a big move. So you journal your progress to see if that's the case. Now, and then you record this. You're like, oh, wow, I took the VMM trade. It was a big move. The next time the VMM trade sets up, you want to take it and you're expecting a big move. You're going to monitor. You're going to not take profits too early because you're expecting a big, big move. Does that make sense? So that's how you progress. Okay, family? Thank you.